So coming from courts, Salesforce is cutting jobs across its AI agent and cloud software teams. A California WARN notice lists 86 eliminated positions with additional cuts in Washington state and outside the US. Oh no, not 86 jobs! Yeah, I know. You're sitting there right now, and you're going, wow. This is the kind of story that Eli, the computer guy, has to jump on top of, right? Anytime there's if a janitor gets laid off at Microsoft, we have to scream about it. I know that's what you're thinking. The thing is with this, I was looking at this particular article, and I was going through it, and I was like, hey, it is what it is. Until you get to the last paragraph. So follow the bouncing ball for a little while, because I do think once we get to the last paragraph, it actually gets to be a little bit interesting. So Salesforce is doing layoffs, but again, the number is nominal. I think they've got like 80 some odd thousand employees, so laying off 86 people or a couple hundred people, honestly, that basically is just Tuesday. Salesforce laid off employees across its Agentforce, MuleSoft, and Marketing Cloud teams, according to Business Insider, which first reported the cuts. According to California WARN notice, 86 positions were eliminated across sales, general administration, and technology and product functions. Workers in Washington state and internationally were also among those let go. So this is a WARN Act for California for 86 people. So there were more people let go, but it's probably relatively small numbers. The cuts did not affect core Agentforce teams. August 7th is the listed end date for payroll coverage for those affected. Earlier this year, the company cut fewer than 1,000 positions in a separate January reduction. An SEC filing placed Salesforce total headcount above 80,000 is as of late January. So one of the things I will say here, as far as the layoffs actually do go, is to be careful, because all these technology companies are continuing to do layoffs, right? So many times with the news, right, with me coming out screaming, I'm talking about 4,000 people being laid off, 8,000 people being laid off, 30,000 people being laid off, right? So it's really easy to focus on that and be like, woo, I survived 30,000 people laying off. My job is secure. One of the important things to understand, especially as we go forward, and these companies right size, right? They have too many employees to begin with. Think about this with Salesforce. They got 80,000 employees. Look, I'm not even snarking on the employees at this point in time. They can probably get rid of a few and not notice. But one of the things we're going to start noticing is more and more of these companies getting to that right sizing position where essentially they're going through and they're simply pruning. They're pruning the employees so that each individual department is more appropriately sized for whatever function that they're doing. So that is something to keep in mind as we go forward. The layoffs come as Salesforce faces concerns that AI tools and agents could erode demand for traditional business software, including its core customer relationship management products. Salesforce stock is down more than 30% this year. So I do think this is interesting. We talk about this with the sales apocalypse, or the SaaS apocalypse. They talk about it with the SaaS apocalypse. I kind of think the SaaS apocalypse functionally is stupid. So there's this idea that AI is going to eat SaaS, software as a service. So the Salesforce of the world, the HubSpots of the world, WordPress of the world, all of that kind of stuff, that's going to get eaten by AI. That's dumb. That's just so fucking stupid. The reason is, right, is because these companies actually give you a product, right? When you buy Salesforce, you get an overall product that you can use. That is actually a very valuable thing. If you have never actually had to build a product, there's nothing more frustrating than figuring out what the feature set of a product should be, right? Buying something off the shelf. One of the nice things with buying something off the shelf is it gives you a frame of what you're allowed to do. Like it's really easy to complain that you can't do X, Y, or Z. But one of the nice things is when you buy something off the shelf is that you can't, there's no discussion. You don't have to sit in a meeting for who's going to build this additional feature set. Look, the product doesn't have that feature set, fuck off. Right? I will pay Salesforce $50 a month per seat just to tell employees, fuck off. right? No, Salesforce doesn't do it. The other thing to be thinking about too is, again, especially when you think about data and that type of thing, one of the things that you're paying for when you do with Salesforce or HubSpot or any of these companies is that they're dealing with your data, right? I've talked about this before with replication strategies and all kinds of stuff, high availability and that. Like actually having access to your data, making sure that your data isn't destroyed in weird ways, all kinds of stuff like that. Like when you use software as a service, right, that's a lot of what you're buying. I do think what is interesting though, we've talked about this a lot lately, especially with the value of things. Why is something quote unquote worth what it is, right? We talked about this with SpaceX. Why is SpaceX stock worth $135 a share? I'll let somebody else try to explain that one, right? But a lot of the valuation of things is just what do people think it should be worth? So I think one of the dangerous things with the SaaS apocalypse is not the SaaS apocalypse itself. The SaaS apocalypse, the entire concept of the SaaS apocalypse is dumb, right? If you hear somebody talk about the SaaS apocalypse, that's how you know they're a fucking normie or walk the hell away, right? It's just a dumb concept. But here's the thing about normies. They're the ones that swipe the credit card, right? If they are told that Salesforce is no longer worth what it was, especially $50 a month. Like, why are you paying $50 a month when AI can do it for you? Here's the thing, AI can't do it for you. It just can't. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into SaaS that has nothing to do with AI. But if it starts getting in people's minds that they can switch off of Salesforce or switch off these SaaS companies and go to other things, that brings what they're willing to pay for SaaS down. All of a sudden, it goes from $50 a seat for Salesforce looking like a steal. Like, if you think about this, if you're like, well, if we had to roll our own CRM solution, customer relationship management solution, if we had to roll our own and manage our own CRM solution, it would require, we'd have coders and it would have to get built out, probably a couple $100,000. Then we'd have to have people that would manage the CRM solution. Then we'd have to have, engineers or system administrators to manage the servers. Again, we talk about high availability and replication and all that kind of stuff. Somebody would have to do all of that kind of thing. So if you're like, look, if you're thinking about having 5 full-time IT staff, plus everything that goes along with rolling your own CRM solution and being able to support it, versus $50 a month for a license for Salesforce, right? Again, valuation. Oh, $50 a month per user is cheaper than dealing with 5 geeks and all that kind of stuff. Right? And so that's an easy way to do the sales stuff. And that's why CFOs, again, like I remember when Salesforce came out at $50 a seat, and I was like, holy fuck, right? I remember that moment, like, wow, that's a bit of money. But again, talk to CFOs, talk to money people within the business organization. And that was the thing, $50 for a license, right? It was a no-brainer for them because if you look at all these other costs, these other resource expenses. Well, here's the interesting thing. Now people are going to start looking at AI. Now they're going to look at AI. Like, well, if the company is already paying $20 per month per license for AI, and AI can replicate any SaaS product, it can't, but they don't know that. Why should we pay $50 a license for Salesforce? Right? It's how you view the value of the thing that you're buying. And so I think that's one of the things that can be dangerous for Salesforce or any a lot of these other SaaS companies is not that AI will functionally replace what they're doing. It won't. It will get people to reassess how much they think these products should cost. And that's going to get wonky really fast. Again, if you've ever actually done business negotiations, if you actually had to get somebody to sign a contract, right? I mean, the greatest thing in the world is to plop a contract in front of somebody and have them look at the number and go, oh, that's fair, right? Right. That's how Eli, the computer guy, likes to do negotiations. You put a number on the table, people go, oh, wow, that's a little bit less than I thought I was going to pay. Here you go. Right, that's easy. Again, especially when you think about these corporate customers, what happens when Salesforce puts that number on the table, and then you have this normie ass mutterfutter on the other side of that negotiation goes, man, I don't know, you want us to pay you $100,000 this year for Salesforce? You know, we can just get AI to do it. And you're like, no, but you really can't just get AI to do it. You don't want to do that. And I think you know what? I think we're going to try to get AI to do it. Like, all of a sudden, the value of that contract starts plummeting as you're like, okay, maybe, what if we say 90,000? Will you sign for 90,000? Nah, I mean, AI, how do you get to sign for 50,000? Again, you think about that type of negotiation at scale, what that will do for technology companies. Be very interesting. As I've said before, these AI founders, they're bastards. They're the stupidest bastards I've ever seen in my life. Right? They come out and they say all this garbage, and they don't care who they hurt, and they don't care that it's all crap. They're just saying this stuff, and I don't think they realize the amount of damage they're doing to our entire sector from this stupidity. Again, one of the reasons I get a wee bit frustrated. But what becomes interesting, let's see here, is down here, this final paragraph. And this, my friends, is where you're screwed. You're not screwed because 86 people got laid off. You're not actually screwed because their stock is down by 30% this year. This is where you're screwed. During the May earnings call, Binoff told investors that engineering staff levels had held steady at around 15,000 for approximately 2 years. So think about this. Salesforce is a big company, right? Their CRM solutions, it makes sense. Whether you should pay $50 a month for the license, who the hell knows? But the product makes sense. It's a valuable product. Everybody uses it for a reason. They've held at 15,000 engineering staff for 2 years. He attributed the stagnant hiring pace to productivity tools. Quote, the reason it's been mostly flat is because we have been using AI to create more efficiency for our engineers, per Inc. So think about this, and this is what I've been talking about, like with the layoffs, right? There's this whole garbage right now that all these layoffs, right? Oh, the 150 layoffs, 1,000 layoffs this year, that's about AI. That's not about AI. That is about right-sizing companies, right? The companies had far too many employees when the economy was good, and the economy is not good anymore. They're just right-sizing. They're using an excuse. What is more dangerous and what is more insidious and what's not being talked about enough is that for companies that are actually being managed well, that they are not growing their staff. Right? Think about this. Salesforce has not increased their engineering staff in 2 years. That says something right there. That says, and we talk about that with efficiency tools, right? Bringing efficiency experts in, having automation tools, having AI tools support with what you're doing. Right? One of the things that can be dangerous for your career is not that you're going to get laid off, it's just that you're simply not going to get hired to begin with. And so I think that's the more interesting thing here with Salesforce. So what do you think about this? What do you think about AI and the quote-unquote SaaS apocalypse? The real danger is when at scale, business people reassess what they think these products should be valued at. And then what do you think? Again, now that 86 people got laid off, it happens. Whatever, 80,000 people. A lot of people are going to get laid off every year. What do you think about this, though? Again, a staff of 15,000 engineers flat for 2 years. Do you think that might be a wee bit more concerning than the garbage AI-focused layoffs that we've been hearing about for the past 6 months? Anyways, put your thoughts down below. If you like these episodes and you want them on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, there's a link down below. Also, if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, there's a link down there too. With that, see y'all later.